Suhail said.
Anyway,
Okay.
I'm glad that Sanjay Jha has said what he has. I have only 3 or 4 points to make. Number one, when any prime minister, whether he's a Congress prime minister, a Samajwadi prime minister, if it ever happens, or a BJP prime minister, he's India's prime minister. He's not the prime minister of Benares or the prime minister of Noida who's going overseas. Has there been abuse in this election? Yes, but it's across the board. We have said this, we have discussed this on your program, Navika, that the political discourse has fallen to levels which are incomprehensible and unacceptable. Everyone recognizes that. Third, are we now starting afresh? The G7 is a commendation of India's place in the comedy of nations, whether we like it or not. See, you may hate Narendra Modi, and I keep saying, of course, you have every business to hate him. But for a man of Jairam Ramesh's intellect, stature, experience, and track record as a minister, does it really behove a Jairam Ramesh to take pot shots of the worst kind? You know, Sanjay Jha used the word scrapping the barrel. I think what he meant was scraping the bottom of the barrel. That's exactly what's happened. They are scraping the bottom of the barrel, and everyone is doing it. Do we condone it? No. I have greater expectations from a Jairam Ramesh. Why? Because he's intelligent. He's been there, done that. He's been a cabinet minister. I expect more gravitas. Will you see Mallikarjun Kharge ever say these things? No. There's a statesmanship that we need to bring about in our political discourse. Also, what pleasure does it give the Congress or anyone? Forget the Congress for a moment. What pleasure does it give any opposition leader to keep taking pot shots at the prime minister, to keep insulting him, especially when he's abroad? The same Congress which, by the way, stood divided when Manmohan Singh was taking steps into the Oval Office and somewhere an ordinance was being discussed. I later learned it wasn't torn. So I'm saying it was being discussed. There are times when a nation stands behind its people. And there is no Congress, there is no BJP, there is no Samajwadi Party. Narendra Modi represents 1.4 billion Indians. We may hate him, we may disagree with him, we may be disagreeable, but he's our prime minister. When he puts his foot forward on foreign soil, he represents us. He is not there to be torn, to be divided, and to be ridiculed by a certain section of society which believes that bringing him down is the only way forward for a progressive nation. If that is what the belief of the Congress is, then it is ironic to even talk about a Mohabbat ki Dukaan. But then your Mohabbat ki Dukaan is based on an edifice of hatred. Then nothing can change it. So I'm not holding a bill for anyone.
Tanveer Ahmed, that's the question I want to ask you. One-third prime minister salvaging his image, diminished image abroad. People should actually get to him and ask him why he doesn't have a Muslim minister in his cabinet. Are these the questions that the opposition should ask at home? Or do they need support from foreign powers even to ask a question of this kind? Because these kind of statements, these kind of tweets, what are they doing to the national fabric of this country?
Fantastic. Navika, the beauty of democracy is that no question is a bad question. Every question definitely has its own legitimate space. And every question definitely needs to be asked. Like a sick man goes to a hospital, definitely from 400 to 240 is absolutely Prime Minister never expected and BJP never expected. And this is the question we all are asking, and definitely Prime Minister needs to improve his image. 400 abki bar 400 bar to 240. And second thing, my good friend Mr. Sudhanshu Trivedi spoke about Gandhiji. I think the last party who should speak about Gandhiji is BJP. They said that Gandhiji was not known to the world before 1980, before the movie came. This is one point. And second and the third and important point, did Dr. Manmohan Singh really brought the image of India on a very high pedestal on G7? Yes, absolutely. Even today the world refers to what Mr. Manmohan Singh did along with Angela Merkel, the Chancellor of Germany. And fourth and very important point, Mr. Suhail Seth really came here and he was trying to put passion and patriotism. We all are patriotic. He's our Prime Minister. That's the reason we are asking questions. Why was the divisive politics which was played by the Prime Minister? No Prime Minister in the history of the country has ever played divisive politics. You bought Mangal Sutra, when you don't go to Manipur, when you are not talking about, when you are calling names to Sikh brothers as Khalistanis, when you are not having one Muslim single representation, even though 23 crore Muslims are there in this country. This is, don't you think, Mr. Suhail said, this question definitely needs to be asked? This is part of the patriotism. This is not putting Prime Minister in a bad light. This is asking the Prime Minister to really take all the important questions and represent in the world. And the world is watching.
Okay,
I want to come back.
Suhail said respond.
I think deaf people nice to be, deaf people definitely needs to be heard twice.
I did not use the phrase patriotism. That is the last refuge of some other people, also known as scoundrels. I didn't use the word patriotism. B. I neither used the phrase when a big tree falls, the earth shakes. I didn't say that. That was reflected and attributed or targeting another community. I'm not even going into history.
Exactly, you.
Because if we go into that, 1 minute, I did not interrupt you. Now keep quiet and listen. Have the decency to listen. You represent no party. You're going back Begani Shadi mein Abdullah Diwana. 1 minute, let me finish. Let me finish, Tanveer. I can also filibuster. I can also filibuster. Don't even go there. I can also filibuster. But I'm not here for a rude debate.
No,
I will just make two limited points. I will make two limited points. No one is saying that you mustn't ask the Prime Minister questions. Obviously, you haven't understood the narrative. The question before this television program is, should you always abuse the Prime Minister only when he's abroad? That's the question. Now, if you don't understand the question, your answers will be to a different question. We are very, very clear. Please ask the Prime Minister every goddamn question you want.
That's the point.
But that's not asking
the point.
A question.
And Sudhanshu Trivedi, you know, I'm running out of time, Suhail said, but Sudhanshu Trivedi, last question to you. Yes, the numbers have gone down from 303 to 240 for the BJP, for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But the fact is, the pre-poll alliance has won the elections and has been sworn in. Now, once a government is in place and once the Prime Minister is going abroad, why is the opposition still in denial?
I would like to say one more thing, that Sanjay Jha and Tanveer Ahmed has given all sort of sermons, but they do not dare to say a single word against those who have disrespected the statue of Mahatma Gandhi. Yes, we are the last party, but what happened to the first party? Now coming to the foreign question. The problem with them is that they are not ready to digest the actual Prime Minister because they are in the habit of accidental Prime Minister. Forget about BJP's Prime Minister. They never gave respect to the Prime Ministers of Congress party who are not from the first family. Everybody knows how Manmohan Singh was dealt with. It was narrated by none other than their own colleagues. And how Narasimha Rao was dealt with. Everybody knows this. And how Shastri ji's death was dealt with. So we can understand that you consider yourself as such infallible that none other than the first family should have any respect. And how Mr. Tanveer Ahmed, you remember how Mr. Devagowda was brought down? And now you are supporting them in this way. So how Mr. Chandrasekhar was brought down, how Chaudhary Charan Singh was brought down, and how Gujarat ji was brought down. So inka to ek hi, but hamari taraf se sochiye. In 1995, Geneva, in Narasimha Rao's government, at the time of the Kashmir issue, we are having utmost opposition, utmost contrast to the policies, but Atal Bihari Vajpayee went there and taken full side of Narasimha Rao government, given him full credit. And when Modi ji was chief minister, remember when Nawaz Sharif has spoken untowardly words for Manmohan Singh, the Hati Aurat, who gave the first reaction? It was Shri Narendra Modi who said, "Kaun hota hai hamare 120 crore desh ke pradhan mantri ke bare mein kehne wala?" That's how you should learn to become a mature opposition.